India is one of the only countries where there is absolutely no regulations for pet food, which is why India is known as a low trust market or a trust deficit market. Milk is not suitable for 60-70% of puppies. They will humanize the pet to the extent that it works for my baby, it should work for the dog also.
That's what most of the Indian houses think.
Both ways it's wrong. My father is an IMA 93-95 batch who started dog food manufacturing in 97, pre-pedigree.
Wow.
America has a pet penetration of 65%.
65%, yeah.
India has 7-8%.
7-8%.
Yeah, so hardly 7-8% of households have pet.
Are brands working towards increasing this number?
Pet industry in India from 97 to 2000 was absolutely nothing. Then 2010 to 12, 13 was another spike. Then the next one happened 2019 to 21, 22. We are anticipating that a similar jump or a spike or a J curve as they call it would happen maybe in
Welcome to the Pets Are Family podcast, a show where we dive into the latest trends, news and stories in the pet industry. Each episode, we talk to industry experts, founders and pet lovers. Together, we explore ideas, innovations and real stories that are shaping the future of pet care. Basically, everything for pet lovers from pet lovers. I'm your host Anil Reddy. I'm so glad you're here. So, grab a coffee, get comfy and let's jump into today's episode. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Pets Are Family. Today in this episode, we are joined by Hari Shankar, the brain behind the food that fuels Pets of Paradise. Hari comes from a family rooted in pet food manufacturing, giving him early exposure to the inner workings of the pet industry. As the head of food manufacturing and operations, Hari is focused on creating meals that are wholesome and nutritious. These are made with native Indian herbs, spices and superfoods for bioavailable nutrition. Under his leadership, offerings like Indie Dog, Black Dog for dogs and Indie Cat, Black Cat for cats are crafted without preservatives, prioritizing health, flavor and affordability. Hari's approach ensures that quality remains uncompromised, even while making healthy pet food more accessible to the Indian households. His work embodies the brand's broader mission to make pet parenting more joyful, inclusive, and sustainability for families across the country. I am really looking forward to diving into this conversation and learning more about his journey and vision. Join me for this interesting episode. Welcome, Hari, to the Pets of Family, and so glad to have you here. And I've been following you on LinkedIn. You are one of those pet entrepreneurs who are so active on social, and each and every post of yours, I get to learn something. I always mention that I'm new to this industry, but honestly, with people like you, from people like you, I learn a lot. And I would start with introduce yourself in less than a minute.
Thank you so much for what you said. I mean, I feel very good hearing that whatever I'm writing on LinkedIn is of use to someone at least. And so I've been trying to write on LinkedIn mainly to encourage new entrepreneurs to enter into the space and what are the challenges, what to expect, all those stuff. That's basically my line of thought in that. And to give you a brief intro about myself, I think my journey has been unique in that way. My father is an IMA 93-95 batch who started dog food manufacturing in 97, pre-pedigree.
Wow.
So I had this experience of living around pet food manufacturing, 20 dogs at home, 15-20 cats, all inside the property that we were living. So lived a lot with dogs and cats, ate dog food as a snack just to see what it is, kind of a thing. So the experience has been very diverse. Had my graduation, post-graduation, Delhi School of Economics, then executive MBA from IMA. And then I entered into pet industry in a different angle where I wanted to build a distribution and supply chain warehousing model for all the brands that were there. Worked on it for the last few years, reached a point where we felt that it's time to build our own brand. Now we've entered into D2C as well. So yeah, I think I've seen it in different angles, different perspectives to comment on some of the things at least. And happy to be here in this program.
Wonderful.
Podcast.
Wonderful. Thank you. And was it pre-planned that you entering the pet industry?
I had no choice. I'm not fit for anything else. Because this is the only thing I've been taught, I've been thinking of day in, day out, seeing. So when you have too much of exposure to something, you're basically disbarred from doing most other things because you will never have the depth or clarity that you can bring in this. So for me, it was very clear. If I have to do something, it has to be in entrepreneurship, in pet care. I'm very passionate about cooking and like love to cook for humans.
I see that on them.
But this is something that I felt makes more sense considering my journey. And so pet industry is a very close network. There are very few people totally all together. So if you're already an insider in that network and you know everyone first name basis, then it gives you a lot of advantage on day one when you start, because you're already well connected. You know where to source what, whom to do what with. And that information is not something that will be easily available to others. So I think that is a unique advantage that I have. If I don't enter this space, then I'm wasting it completely.
Tell me about Pets of Paradise.
Okay, so Pets of Paradise is something very close to my heart. When I was doing this distribution and supply chain model, I was happy doing it. The business was also pretty good. Like as of today, it's the biggest distribution standalone business in India. And we cover more than 10% of all pet shops in India. So as a business, it has good basics foundationally. But I felt it was very transactional. I had no impact or communication to direct pet parents. Our role ended from manufacturer to the shop. Beyond that, we had no role. So we felt that if you really need to bring change in India, and it all started with my adopted dog, Milo. So despite living in a house with 20-25 dogs, where my parents had dogs and cats, when I adopted Milo from the road, I was on bypass road and a dog came in the middle of my road, like tiny puppy, 25-day-old puppy. I took him and I started keeping him, taking him to office. Everyone, including shopkeepers, my parents, everyone objected because Milo was a street dog. Whereas all the other dogs around us, like even in my home, were Great Danes, Labradors, Dachshunds, whatever, all the breeds that you can list under the sun, some pug, beagle, whatever. So this became a topic of very, like, when I went to a pet shop, big shop in Chennai, he came and he was like, "Sir, why do you have a street dog? I will gift you a Shih Tzu." I was like, if I wanted one, I could have got it myself. That was not the point. The point is that there was a lot of discrimination against it. There was a lot of awareness issue. When you talk to new pet parents, you feel that a lot of misinformation is circulated and is considered as right. Like feed the puppy milk. Milk is not suitable for 60-70% of puppies. They are lactose intolerant. Or a lot of things, whatever they're saying, might not be applicable to the dog at all. Or they will humanize the pet to the extent that it works for my baby, it should work for the dog also.
That's what most of the Indian houses think.
Both ways it's wrong. Either ways.
To be honest, I've got 2 dogs and that's what I think. Whatever we eat is what we should feed the dogs. Until I learned about what you should feed, what you should not feed.
Yeah, I think this is prevalent throughout. And it's not a big issue that cannot be solved. I felt that this is something that if people put in the effort, it can be solved. And see, if you take pre-2000s, India had extreme lack of awareness in terms of pets. Pedigree did some amazing work in the first 5 to 7 years.
You mentioned that in the post. Is Pedigree not doing that now?
No, none of them are doing it.
None of the brands are doing it.
So they did a lot of small events. They worked with a lot of breeders, veterinarians to promote various things, mainly to build dog food industry related to that. But that spread a lot of awareness, created a lot of conversational points, created a lot of small gatherings where people interacted. It was a good way to develop the industry. Today, the industry has changed. Now, everyone is fighting over a certain set of pet parents who spend money. Nobody.
That's about what percent of Indians?
15% of the total pet parents. So, if there are 40 million households with pets in India, 40 million pets in India, around 4 million account for the 1.2 billion spends that upper.
Is the number correct, Hari? Everybody claims there's a 40 million pets in India.
Yeah, it should be correct.
It should be correct. Out of that, there's close to 31 million dog parents.
34 million approximately, and 6 to 7 million cat parents.
Cat parents.
Out of that, less than 4 million account for the entire spend. The rest don't spend anything. Maybe when they got the dog or the cat, they would buy a leash and a collar.
That's it.
Or maybe go to a vet once. But beyond that, there is no spend in the entire lifespan.
Wow.
Which is most of the industry. Now, most people work on getting a better share of this 10%, that 4 million. So everyone is targeting and attacking that 4 million harder and harder, and nobody wants to spend on anything else.
What is the average spend of this 4 million?
Approximately 1,500 rupees a month.
Is that all?
$20. You can directly divide so Indian pet industry has varying numbers. Like if you take a Red Seer or something, they'll be like it's $3 billion, which is 25,000 crore. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they're including fish and all the other things. But dog and cat, primary data suggests it's around 8,000, 10,000 crores is the total market valuation, all put together.
Including services.
Everything put together is 8 to 10,000 crore is what is accepted amongst most pet entrepreneurs. Now, if you take this 8 to 10,000 dollars and if you divide it by 4 million, divided by 12, you will approximately arrive at 18,000 rupees per year per pet,
Wow.
which translates to 1,500 rupees a month.
1,500 rupees.
It's a reverse calculation that we are doing just for our sake.
I thought it was 5,000 rupees, the average.
The number will be so big, no? No, so this 1,500 rupees is an averaged out number where in that 4 million also there will be people who are spending 15 to 20,000
20,000.
and there will be people who are spending less than 1,000, like 500, 800 rupees a month, which is the majority, I guess, because a bag of pedigree wouldn't cost more than 1,000 or pure pet or whatever they're feeding, which is 40-50% of the purchase. So that wouldn't cost more than 1,000 rupees a month.
That's for the large.
No. For a smaller or
Small
medium.
breed, okay.
Smaller or medium breed is what is commonly
Common, okay.
pushing the expenditure. I don't think the large and the bigger breeds spend they're more like guard dogs.
Yeah, okay.
Like their expenditure on them is slightly lesser than what they would spend on a Shih Tzu or other breeds, which is the trend that we are seeing. It's not because there are more Shih Tzus, it's just that more Shih Tzu parents spend more on their dogs. Something like that. So approximately we arrived that, okay, there should be around 1,500 average spend, which is 18,000 into 4 million, which comes to around this number. It's all assumptions here, but more or less this is correct. So that is 1/10 of what an average American household would spend on their pet. This is $15, $20 a month. They spend $200 a month. Now, America has a pet penetration of 65%.
65%, yeah.
India has 7-8%.
7 to 8%.
Yeah. So hardly 7 to 8% of households have pet. Americans 90% spend on packaged food. Indian 10 to 15% spend on packaged food. So the disparity is a lot in a lot of numbers, which is each an opportunity in itself. Now, how this will be solved and how businesses will emerge out of this is something that is to be seen, because India is a very unique country. You cannot exactly copy something from US and expect it to work here. You'll need to play for the behavioral aspect as well.
Are brands working towards increasing this number? I see most of the brands.
Which number are you talking?
The 7 to 8% that you're talking about. Indian.
That is what Pedigree was doing in the early 2000s, which I felt was a good way of building the market as well. And the market also grew because of that. I think that is a very good model. Like big brands who have the budget can afford to do it. It's just that they don't feel the need to do it because it's not a immediate return game. It's not like you put 1 crore into maybe only 10% of the newly adopted pets will buy your food. 90% might do something else. So maybe from a business perspective, it didn't make a lot of sense to them.
But if nobody's doing it, how is this percentage going to grow?
It isn't growing well. That is the whole point of it.
But people say after COVID, there has been an explosion.
After COVID, there was, but that was a phase. So 2019 to 21, the adoptions skyrocketed. Puppies were not available. Like I used to talk to people and I can give you direct my data. We were selling close to 50,000 to 1 lakh puppy collars a month. I'm talking about the general small 10 mm puppy collars, which are coming from all brands. I didn't have any of my own brands then. I was just distributing. So the 50,000 to a lakh. Then if you take things like bowls, selling tons a month. So that is an indicator that a lot of puppies are being adopted, because of which you need these puppy collars and bowls, which you buy as soon as you get the puppy home. Take the scenario today, it has flipped on its head. It is less than 1/10 or 1/15 of the sale of puppy collars of that time. And even the bowls and all these first time purchase items when puppies are sold comes down. And if you talk to any breeder or any pet shop which sells puppies as well, they will tell you the same story, that offtake is not there. So this has happened post 22. So 19 to 22, you can say is a golden period in terms of boom, and but a lot of the pets that were adopted during that time was also abandoned.
Yeah.
It was not a good
Yeah.
scenario overall, if you ask me. But there was a lot of hype around it. If you take the whole pet industry in India from 97 to 2000 was absolutely nothing. Pedigree came 2000 to 2003, saw the first boom, like some kind of interest in this space. Then 2010 to 12, 13 was another spike. Good doubling happened there. Then the next one happened 2019 to 21, 22. All these periods, there is sudden spike in demand. Companies that came just before that period grew through this. Then there is a correction phase. So everyone sees this demand and jumps into the industry. When they come in, there is a correction phase going on where the number of purchases, shops, everything is reducing. And then they have to try and compete with these already established players. So it's also to do with timing when it comes to pet industry, that those who came in, like I came in just before COVID in my own startup when I started the distribution. It gave me an immense advantage. Companies that were there 20 years behind me who were continuing, they did not see that this kind of a change would come. That gave me an opportunity to come into the space. Maybe if I had started that same business today, I wouldn't have made it. I don't know. But the timing matters. So we are anticipating that a similar jump or a spike or a J curve, as they call it, would happen maybe in 28, 29, when the Gen Zs become primary pet parents.
Okay.
Like their age is just right for them to start getting their first pets. Like from 25 to 30 years, they're out of college, they have income and they want to get a pet. That will see another spike. So these are all estimations. Nobody knows whether it will happen, whether it won't. But those are the periods where you can expect things to happen the way you want it.
That's very, very well said. You think brands should sit and wait for the 2028 spike?
Everyone, I feel, is preparing for that in some way.
But they're not. Are they doing anything about it instead of waiting till 2028?
See, there are different ways in which you can approach this problem. Some of them will just wait it out. Some of them will try to grab as much real estate or market share as they can while this happens. Just stick to the same thing. Don't bother about increasing the market, doing anything. Okay, this is the pie available to me. I want a bigger share. I want a bigger share. This is what most companies work on. And there will be some players, very rare, but there are some people who I feel are working only for this growing of this market. Now, they are not coming in the spotlight. There is this company called The Pack.
I know them.
So they're working only for creating awareness.
Wonderful.
It's a very nice thing.
Yeah,
I like what Shobit is doing generally. But again, is that financially viable? Will investors back it? Is it going to monetize at this current point of time when the puppy intake, its offtake itself is so slow? Whether it makes sense, but he's working only for that. And all the others are working for this grabbing the land grab game where you take more share, how to push, cannibalize someone else's sale and get one more sale. So this is how all markets work. I think it's also to do with the timing and a lot of other factors. What is right, what is wrong. I don't think I'm the right person to decide. But I think there is a lot more things, like someone very intelligently told me when I told him that some big name which I don't want to mention, that why don't you have the funds? Why don't you work on empowering the pet parents, doing other things needed? Like a lot of my batchmates who want to have a pet, the problem is that when they go on vacation, where will they leave the pet? Or if I want to go for a night out party, who will sit with my pet? So all these kind of questions are hygiene factors which enable you to confidently get a pet. So I asked them, why don't you work on all this? Because it will increase the TAM itself altogether. So the answer that they gave made sense. Even maybe I don't agree to it, but what they said is that these are things that will happen with time. Like whether you do solve it or not, when the number of pet parents increase, these things will parallelly increase. You don't have to worry about it. It's not a chicken and egg problem. It happens simultaneously. When the pet adoption increases, the boardings will increase. It happens like that. So maybe they're all waiting it out, where they're like, the pet adoption will go up and these things will come on its own. Maybe it won't.
The reason I asked you this question is in 2011, when I started Lollipop, there was no market for UX, UI and research. Nobody knew what it was. So I started with educating the startups to invest in design. And today it's a very big market. There are plenty design studios and every design studio is making good amount of business out there. And somebody had to do that. And
So there are always the visionaries who chase something that most people don't believe in, and there are followers. I think pet industry today is a follower industry. Everyone likes to follow whatever is working. Very few people who can do this visionary thing.
But I see that you're taking some small steps to educate people, especially on your LinkedIn post and all that.
Even our POP's whole background is about empowering first-time pet parents, making snackable content under 1 minute, which will give them some information. I think it's something that we consider very important. Now, monetizability of it is different story. Like, how do you have to balance both the things. If there is a cost impact on it, how do you manage that? So now our focus has been on developing the food and the brand around it. But this is indispensable part of it, like an SIP or something that compounds. We'll keep investing in content. We'll keep investing in, someday it will make sense, but we won't go all out being a content brand.
Yeah.
Which might not make sense. Coming to that, like since you bought Lollipop, this was something that was running in my mind. What did you see in the pet industry when you jumped into it? Because you're a seasoned entrepreneur. You're not like a beginner entrepreneur. So there would be a clear vision in terms of when you're entering a new space and something like pet industry, which is not at surface level, it looks simple, but it has too many layers and it's very complicated in itself. What were you looking at from which angle that you felt that you can like revolutionize this space?
Honestly, I still can't believe that I'm in the pet industry, because after Lollipop got acquired, I promised my family that I'll take a break. I'll do my art. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
So I want to go back painting, traveling around the world and exhibiting my work across the world. And then suddenly the nature had a different plan. But I don't have a story like yours, like where you had plenty dogs and then you eventually wanted to do something great. And I really don't have stories like that. So for me, 2-3 years back, I met a friend and he was into the pet industry, and he had 40 dogs in his farm and he wanted to build a store. And that's it. I said, good, do it. Then he said, can you be a part of it? Then I said, financially, yes, I can. I can invest, and whatever I know about design, I can help you out. So my journey started there. We started to open the store, and then I saw there is an
This is Pet Warehouse.
Pet Warehouse.
Yeah.
And today, Pet Warehouse, we have 4-5 centers across Bangalore, and I learned a lot of stuff through Pet Warehouse. And then I am a techie. Whatever I see it from the technology point of view.
Yeah.
And for me, I see an opportunity in the technology space, and that's when I got into it. Then
Technology space as
in the pet industry. So I saw that.
So consumer facing or B2B?
Both.
Okay.
So for me, I saw an opportunity that if I could build tech touch points for everyone, from pet parents all the way to the business and the service providers to manufacturers, right? I think this will become one of the biggest pet technology company. So that was my vision. Then I entered, and it was basically I'm learning a lot. And this industry, this episode or this Pets of Family is basically my short course that I have in industry experienced people. So yeah, for me, it is a beautiful opportunity playing with what I know, that is design and tech. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. And I love it, love this industry. And like you mentioned, it's a very small, beautifully connected.
Yeah.
And this industry, anyone I contact, they're so helpful. And unlike other industry, I don't want to mention names, but everybody, like last week, I asked you, do you have any data of all the products in India? And within 5 minutes, you send the data. I wouldn't expect that in any other industry. Imagine if I was building a food tech. If I asked this data to some other person, nobody would share that.
We're happy that someone is using it.
Yeah, you just send the Excel sheet, they said, take it. And that's the beauty of this industry. I think most of the pet entrepreneurs have some emotional stories, why they got into it. And then comes the numbers. Now, coming back to the question. Okay, you had the prior experience of distribution and all that. Were you very sure that Pets of Paradise is going to be a super hit, given that you had experience in distribution and stuff?
See, distribution, I know as a business, dhanda, it will work. Like at any point of time, it's a profitable business. There's not a lot of complex elements. Like there's a lot of tech involved because there's a lot of moving parts. So if you can if you're good with Excel sheets and if you're good with numbers and if you're good with efficiency and optimization, you can be a good distributor. But it ends there. It's not something that will give you satisfaction from life. Once your basic money and things are sorted for you, and then you want to do something impactful, where you want to do something, give back to the community of pets or pet parents, or however you want to look at it, there is a good scope or a gap for an Indian brand to come and make stuff for India rather than just copy Western products or something. Like, make for Indian needs. What is the problem that Indian pet parent faces? So 70% of all the products that transact through my B2B ecosystem are imported products. They're not Indian products at all. And Indian manufacturing, for that matter, they just try to make a Chinese product cheaper, or there's no real innovation or customization going in. So we felt that if we can crack this the right way, that don't make products and try to hard sell it, listen to the pet parents, make communities, make things that are useful to them, and then make products that they want, then eventually a brand will get built. So I'm not saying that when we started Pets of Paradise, we were like, day one, we will be a super hit. Even though we had a lot of experience in pet care, we were very conservative in terms of launching a product or putting things out there. We were more trying to listen. That we were like, it's a 3-year, 4-year game. Started, we are waiting for 27, 28 for the big J curve to happen. Don't be delusional that brand will happen over 2 years, 3 years. Brand in pet care is very similar to baby care. You need to build trust. People will not trust you, and people don't distinguish your features. You can keep 10 food brands in front of them, which are all happening right now, all new brands. For them, everything is the same. They will never go into such nitty-gritty that, okay, this has this percentage better. They will go by the brand. Oh, this one has Ranbir Kapoor, this one has Alia Bhatt, this one has this. This is the brand I want to buy. This is the top level how people recognize brands. So we felt that that is something that can only be built with time. There is no shortcut to it, or money. Either you burn money like crazy and make associations with people whom you want to be related with, or you give them trust, quality, value adds, touch points, and build it over time, which will have a compounding impact, but it is defensible. So we went with the other model because we didn't have the money. So we thought that we will build more touch points, do things which are useful to the pet parents, listen to them, and make things which they want to pay for. That way, maybe today it might take time, but by 27, 28, we are quite confident, reasonably confident that we can build a good enough brand.
So the pet food market is saturated, is what I've heard. I don't know how true it is. What are you doing that's so different than other pet food out there?
Very interesting question. So pet food is a big opportunity, no doubt. But where I think in India, the gap lies is that 93% approximately of all the pet food sold is generally the standard formats, the kibbles and the gravy pouches. And kibble, if you take, is a World War II invention, basically made for convenience of storage and convenience of logistics. It is not the ideal mode of food for a
What
pet.
I hear from people, and everybody is against the kibble.
I'm not against the kibble. It serves its own purpose. As a matter of fact, my family started with kibble manufacturing. So I'm not anti-kibble. I'm just saying that maybe it is not the right format for India.
For India, okay.
Specifically to India, because adoption seems to be so low. Like, not everyone wants to give kibble. Maybe it's a, cultural thing. That we don't eat food out of a can. So many canned things came for humans. It just didn't happen in India. Canned food works across the world.
True.
But it didn't happen in India. Maybe like that, kibble also has its own limitations in terms of psychological perception and how it works. So I'm not saying kibble is bad. Kibble has its limitations. It has to be made in such a way that there is a lot of preservatives and chemicals in it to make it shelf stable at room temperature. So that is a disadvantage that is generally there in kibble, but I don't think kibble does not serve a purpose at all. A lot of dogs are doing well on kibble, so that we'll give it to that. But my point is that there is a scope for a different format, considering that 85% of pet parents feed home cooked food. And home cooked food has limitations in terms of limited ingredients, not all macro micronutrients are present. That maybe we will see some other format becoming the predominant format in India. unlike the West. So this is something that will be unique to India. So I feel that there is a good gap in terms of what could be that replacement format. And price point is very important in India. India is a very price sensitive market where European countries $100 bag of food is normal. Here $10-20 it's considered normal at best for a 10 kg bag.
For 10 kg bag.
Yeah, and 10-20 is the normal range, whereas US $100 is normal. So you can understand that there are these kind of limitations which make the situation different. And India, unlike the West, has a good traditional know-how of lot of natural native ingredients, herbs, spices, which work for pets also. Similar to Ayurveda, like you can say that Ayurveda for pets kind of a situation, where Indians always used to use the natural herbs and spices and all in the food to make it more beneficial or wellness category. And US and EU is starting their research on all these things. So I feel that that is some place that India has a good advantage on, in terms of that we always had it. It's like saying, okay, now if you take yoga has kind of become like a US patented or trademarked thing. US is selling yoga to the world.
They're selling backwards.
Yeah. So that kind of scenario will eventually happen in pet food also, where US will come out saying that all this dry kibble is bad, natural, bioavailable, holistic nutrition is better. And they will start adding all these herbs and spices into it, which are basically again an Indian thing, which we have been following for thousands of years. So I felt that is a gap where if we can prove the efficacy clinically of the herbs and spices like dry ginger, Isab Gold for fiber, ashwagandha, triphala, all these things, like in moderations, moringa extract, it's picking up massively in EU and US.
Yeah, that's big.
So all those things in pet food is a good unique thing, and these are native things to us. They're not very expensive. They're easily available. So that is an angle that we are considering very seriously. We are working to do the scientific papers to back those things. And we are looking at formats which will complement home food. How do we work hand in hand with this to make that more complete without increasing the expenses? Things like that. We are looking at it from a different angle, not directly trying to cannibalize the dry food market.
This is such a story to tell, right? It's not a simple food to sell. You have to educate the pet parents about all these ingredients and the benefits of it. How are you doing it?
So I think we are heavily dependent on a couple of my co-founders for this. While I make the food and I stay behind the scenes, Darshan and Bhavya take the storytelling, community, content angle to the forefront. Our Instagram page performs quite well. So we have around 20 to 30 lakh impressions every month.
Wow.
And the content performs reasonably well. 5-6K followers increase a month.
Wow.
So that is a slow but way of increasing the awareness and education. We try to do more events, webinars, and other things which can again educate and help pet parents understand the benefit of all these different things. There's no straight answer to your question of how we will be able to achieve it, because we haven't yet done it. But we are hoping that the content and community angle plays a very big role, especially in building trust. There is a face to the brand, and that you stand for certain values and you back your actions with those values. And then you also promote a product kind of correlates or interacts with each other.
I think with humans, when they promote such product, it's easy to understand because they show you before and after, or there are people who come and educate you, like doctors say what is the importance of moringa that you spoke about. But with pets, how do pet parents trust all this?
I think in India, trust is a very, very big problem. Even if I make a veterinarian tell that this is this, pet parents might not trust it because of the poor regulations in India. India is one of the only countries where there is absolutely no regulations for pet food. FSSAI does not cover pet food. It's not in the ambit. So anyone can make anything and make any claim over it because it is not covered, which is why India is known as a low trust market or a trust deficit market, which is why they prefer imported products, because at least in their home country, there is regulation. Somebody is monitoring it. So the claims that they make is validated somewhere. In India, that is not there. So I feel that more than just putting, there are at least 2-3 veterinarians, 2-3 nutritionists who work on our food, help us formulate, Ayurvedic practitioners, all these nutritionists, everything. But even if I get them on camera, pet parent is not going to trust it. It has to be one level above that. That is why we are going for scientific papers and clinical trials. But on a general level, like we have fed our food to say 500,000 dogs and cats, and we see that those parameters which are easily observable, like shedding reduces, motion is firmer, these are visibly differentiated. Like you can see that within 2 to 3 weeks itself because it's natural food. So the absorption is better. So the results are also there. But I don't think that is good enough. In India, at least, if an Indian brand really needs to crack food, they'll have to take it the clinical trial, the scientific papers, publishing route.
Is government working towards it?
So it's doing a lot of stuff than before. Last 2-3 years, government has actually started taking pet industry seriously. There have been 1 or 2 high-level meetings where the government has invited pet industry stakeholders to come and explain our problems and what do they want and all.
Nice.
And it's been almost 3 years that they're continuously saying that they will regulate pet industry, but nothing has come out of it. So there is another event right now happening in another few months where one of the ministers from central government will be participating in it, and we get to petition and tell them our problems, but it hasn't yet materialized. It will happen eventually.
Nice. Do you think that will bring transparency into the pet food
It
industry?
will bring some amount of trust at least.
Trust.
Overnight, it is not going to change, but at least pet parents will feel that, okay, Indian brands are, somebody is looking at it. I think that is necessary in any market, that you can't just let anyone do anything and then obviously they will not trust that market itself as a whole. So there are people who are making extreme effort to make really good stuff, and there are people who are making substandard things as well. Now all of them are considered with the same lens or the same bracket because the industry is like that. I think that's a little unfair for those who are following things.
So realities versus hype around the booming Indian pet care market.
So I think this is a double-edged sword or a two-sided answer that I will have to give you. Pet industry is growing, at least visibly around me. The number of people with pets,
Especially in Bangalore, being the pet capital, I can see the number of pets.
significantly. Bangalore is a very good example where we did some primary research, and there are a lot of apartments with above 20-25% pet penetration. Inside the apartment, 20 to 25% or more households have pets in it. Same in Bombay, which is huge because 15% is considered the point of inflection, above which, if anything is there, then seeing the other person, the next person is forced to get it. So in these societies or localities, that inflection point has already crossed, which is a good sign. So there is a good trend towards increasing pet population and adoptions, and all those things are happening. At the same time, I'm not sure how fast is the expense that is happening on the GMV of pet industry. How fast is that growing? I'm not very sure, because a lot of brands that I talk to give me the feedback that their sale has kind of stagnated after 21, 22, where they saw 1x, 2x jump in like 3 years. They just double their sale. And then it has just stagnated over the last 2-3 years. And these are all big brands who are actually doing huge business. And the second thing is that we are feeling that shops are affected disproportionately. Brands are still able to at least maintain status quo, but offline shops without any services attached to it, that is no veterinarian, no grooming, pure play pet shops, we don't see that as a futuristic segment. Like maybe 40-50% of the pet shops today might not be there 5 years down the line. This is a high reality. Reason being that the pet shops generally, you will know better, that get their margins from the accessories, treats and other sale, not from the food sale. And if pet parent is not walking in to buy the food, then he's not seeing the other products.
Absolutely.
Now Quickcom has suddenly replaced 40% of Whiskas and pedigree sale.
I was going to come to that. I recently visited Kolkata, and there's a couple of pet stores raising and complain about that. They've been disrupted by the quick commerce, and they're all getting together to raise a voice against it.
But do what?
So they're basically giving the same product that's available in their shops at a discount plus 10 minutes delivery. So
Correct.
they're losing customers. They're losing customers.
But these are inevitabilities of an open market. You can't, like, market dynamics will shift to what is more convenient. If I feel that getting pedigree at my doorstep at 15% discount at 10-minute delivery is more convenient for me, you can't stop me from doing it.
I think your point of adding service really changes the game for the pet.
Services is a very important.
As they take the dogs for the grooming, they get to see the products there.
Correct. So that is something that we are noticing. That services attached to pet stores is a kind of a thing now. Like, that makes a lot of difference to that store's footfall. And this disproportionate impact that we are seeing because of the reduction in food sale is pushing the pet stores to a corner. But the brands have been able to maintain their sale.
Yep.
It's only switched channels. It has not gone down for them. So it depends on whose angle you're looking from. That if you are a pet shop owner, then you would feel the industry is in a downward spiral. If you are a marketplace or a quick com player, I'll give you the data. So when I was starting my B2B business, I did my own research of things at that point of time. And entire online sale of all pet products, all pet brands, Amazon, Flipkart, everything put together was 36 crores in 2018, 17-18. Total 36 crores. That's it. All platforms put together. And at that point of time, there was DogSpot, everyone. That is all it was. So I was like, this is too small to even consider entering, which is why I did my whole tech play on supply chain optimization in B2B. Now, when I checked it last year, from 36 crores, Amazon alone did 1,200 crores. Only Amazon did 1,200 crores in the last 24-25 FY.
Wow.
Then there is Flipkart. Then there is Supertails, HUFT, everyone's sale put together. I think around 2,000 crores is online from 36 crores.
Wow.
And this happened in 5-6 years.
5-6 years.
It's a crazy transformation which made me question my decision at that point of time. Like, I maybe in retrospect should have just gone online.
But today selling online is not easy, right?
It's not easy, but it's become a dominant channel. 25% of the industry is now online from 0%. And if you take a country like China, 95% of their sale is online. They have hardly 4 or 5 pet stores per city. It's fully online. So it's, I think, an inevitability that people will move towards convenience, sitting at home and getting it. And it's okay, you can make as many associations and you can do as many protests, but companies will move where the customer is. They will find a work around it. I don't think that the solution is to force the companies. It's to find a way to reinvent yourself, to make yourself more useful to the pet parent than to do the other thing.
Hari, this has been wonderful. And one question, advice for newcomers, someone who wants to get into the space. I think most of them that I have met, they see there is a challenge and there is an opportunity here. Especially they'll have dogs at home and they see that there's no proper food, proper education, and not on a single good nutrition food. And that's when they get into the space. What advice do you have for them?
I think don't make the mistakes that I made while I was doing the things. Like, generally the mistake that all of us make is that we chase the biggest numbers. Like, we see that there is a shining star there and we're like, let's chase that number. It's more about going deeper on a smaller problem than trying to address a broader problem, which a lot of people are already doing. You might not be able to differentiate yourself. So today, if you ask me, boarding is a problem, grooming is a problem, petcation is a problem, veterinary is a problem. There are so many problems. Pick one and go deeper and understand the customer needs in that particular problem deeper and come up with very specific, unique problems for India. I mean, solutions for India. That will actually make you very recollectable. Like you said, when you started in 2011 for UI UX, it was not a big thing, but you realized it will be an opportunity and went deep into it. Same thing needs to happen in pet care. Instead of, maybe you could have started with website designing, development, because that was in thing at that point of time. Everybody wanted to make a website development company. But you went into a specific niche inside that of just UI and UX, not the entire website. Similarly, instead of just looking at it as pet care space as a whole, pick up a certain specific niche and go deep into that niche. Like if you're going grooming, solve it in such a way that nobody should think of anything else when they think grooming other than you. Or adoptions, they should just be like, okay, if my friend wants to adopt, this is the place they should go. Or if they want information after adopting, this is the place they should go. So all these are yet to be cracked, but how it will be cracked for India is something we'll have to wait and see. My advice would be the same thing, that I made a marketplace. I try to chase everything under the sun. So all these are wrong ways of approaching the problem, because someone else is already doing it. What are you doing substantially different from them that you should make it and not them? So if it is just you're saying that, okay, there is food that I don't like, I will also make a dry kibble, then you're not substantially different. Maybe you're better, but that better won't get communicated. People won't remember that. You need to do something substantially different.
Oh God.
Better authoring, yeah. So I think that would be my advice, that rather than going very wide, go narrow.
Wonderful. Great. And here is another question, tech-related question. Why am I asking you this question is, the very first time we met, you introduced yourself, I'm a distributor, and you also showed me an app.
Yeah.
So not many distributors think of building an app.
Oh, I have 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
One of the recent developments that we are doing, the person who's developing it, Shibu, knows you. He was like telling me about Shibu Korean.
Shibu Korean.
Yeah. He's developing a new module for me in CRM.
Okay.
So we have developed a lot of tech integrations in our whole process to make it very efficient. We felt that pilferage in the industry is 3 to 5%. Huge loss of stock. So we went very deep into developing WMS with location mapping, where the app itself will decide the shortest path in the godown.
Wow.
You have to take the first expiry first out. The CRM, which does credit rating for shops. Based on that, we can decide how much credit to extend and what is the credit period to give.
Oh, fantastic.
So tech-wise, we went very deep in that. That's what I'm saying. When you take something, go very deep into it. And then figure out if you is something that you want to pursue forever. But at least don't do it like at a surface level. So tech-wise, we've done a lot of things. Today, we are again in that same place. We're figuring out what is the tech that we need to develop for B2C.
B2C, okay.
Yeah. So you were asking.
Wonderful. My question is, how is technology shaping the future of pet care in India?
I think technology has a huge role to play in pet care in India. From like, maybe I think you will already be solving these problems in your this thing, like having a proper registry of pets with an identity purpose. So that is what we are solving with our QR code on the collar. So that QR code basically enables you get a unique page where you can store all your pet's information. And if anyone else scans that QR when your pet is lost, they get access to all the information, including your owner details and allergens and everything else. So that was one basic small level thing which doesn't add cost that we are doing. But that the medical data of all the pets, you visited maybe 3 different doctors, and all that can be stored in one place. The food information of what you need to get regularly, everything can be centrally stored, making everything easier. And pet tech in terms of wearables, healthcare devices is something that is slated to become very big. Nice. Pet insurance based on all this data and analytics is yet to take off. There's so many things, if you ask me, that can work in India, but someone will have to really customize it to Indian customers and figure it out for them.
And here is a great opportunity for all the tech entrepreneurs to enter the space. And there's so much to build here. Great. I think that's the end of this episode. And thank you so much, Hari.
Thank you for
having the way from Chennai. And this has been another beautiful episode for us, where I get to learn a lot of stuff. And
likewise.
And all the best to everything that you're doing. And I'm a big fan of whatever you're doing out there. And I follow you on LinkedIn, man. Those stories, right, is what I get inspired. And also that gives me hopes that this industry has so much to explore and so much to learn. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. If you like this episode, Don't forget to support us, share it with your friends, and if you know someone else doing amazing work in the pet space, recommend them to us. We'd love to bring their story to you. Until next time, stay happy and keep loving your pets.